Hey, my name is Václav, and let's look at why VCs do something called due diligence. So when they want to invest in you before they sign a term sheet, there's a stage that will happen before they are able to sign the right documentation and deploy the money to your company called due diligence. And it's something that you should be prepared for beforehand in a professional manner. And there are things that you should definitely avoid when something like this is going to happen. The reason why they do it is because they want to make sure that what you're saying when you're presenting actually matches what's going on in reality. So, and if it doesn't, it's something that will raise red flags in their eyes, and it means that you may have lied completely, which is definitely something you want to avoid. Or there are some discrepancies, maybe you're saying one thing, but it's showing something a little different. Or third, it's showing that there's a certain level of incompetency in either yourself or your team. And all those three are definitely red flags and major issues. So let's take a look at what you should actually be able to showcase to them. So let's take a look. And probably you want to do it in Google Drive, in Notion, something that you can structure in an easy way, that you can create a table of contents structured with segments that you can upload various files and give access to third level parties. And just bear in mind that while beforehand it's not applicable to sign an NDA, you don't want to do that. Most VCs will tell you to whatever. But at this point, you can sign an NDA because you're letting people directly in your company, in your finances, in your legal documentations. So one of the things that you want to make sure is that you don't have any inconsistent data or for example, inconsistent missing financials. For example, in your margins, in your gross profit, in your revenues, those numbers, they need to be tight. They need to be, bulletproof. So definitely make sure you have that. For example, if you're saying in the presentation that you have certain level of customers or certain level of revenue, and then, they look at your due diligence documents and they're like, well, yeah, but those things have different margins than what you've told us. Or, all these customers, they are not active. Right, so suddenly they will feel like they are cheated and that you've lied to them, and it will kill any negotiations that you've currently undergone up to that point. For example, another thing could be legal documentations. So for example, incomplete contracts or incomplete documentation that you've already said are done. Another thing is that maybe some key positions in your team are not filled yet, or there's very commonly and frequently fluctuation on those positions. So it's showing that it may not be working very well. So either you want to fix it beforehand, or you want to have an explanation in your hand. So when you put this document in a folder or next to it, you want to explain why is it that it's like that, or admit it being not ideal, and make sure that you give them a roadmap of how you plan on fixing it. So there's two approaches, right? The one is that those people are lying, or they don't even know they're lying, and then trying to get from it by digging even a deeper hole. And second, people is group of people is well, yeah, okay, we've done a mistake here, or we don't have it perfect, but this is how we want to solve it. We have this 5-step process of how we plan on fixing, this is how we plan on filling these very important positions in our team. So we admit to it, and we have a plan. So another thing could be your cap table. They will see how many shares you've given away, or if there are people owning your shares, or if maybe there's some debt, that you may have not admitted, or if there's like some weird people owning weird shares along the way that you haven't communicated, or if you've given up a majority, like all those things need to be ideally cleared up before like you can let investors in your company in your due diligence. So even in this example, like I had a company where we want you to raise like a next round, but we realized like I told the founders like, hey, but you have someone here who owns like several percentage of your company, and you don't have signed any drag-along tag-along rights, and it's set up in a way that like it may be blocking you in the next round, because he may, for example, not want to dilute his shares. I mean, on one hand, you can force them because you don't have the contract signed here, but on the other hand, then he may start like doing some negative reputation stuff on you, which you don't want either. So like figure it out, a place where maybe you can pay them off to exit the company, or get them on board to sign new like documentation and clear up this whole mess, right? So like it sounds easy, like, hey, I just do a document on Notion or Google, but like there's actually a lot of things that actually may come up as a result of it, like a lot of action-oriented steps that you may need to like do before you can accept any capital. If you're a member of our community, like you have access to tools that help with that, you have access to templates, and you also have access to advice on how to deal with it. If you are not a member yet, you should definitely become. There will be a button below to help you do that. Or if you just need a few tips, feel free to reach out and we can discuss like what would be the next step for you to prepare for an investor meeting, to prepare for due diligence, and how to do it effectively and quickly. And either way, good luck in your next fundraising round.